Hey guys, welcome back to Seduce Me to the Demon War. So we're going to do another part 2 of Sam's route, right? So let's load it up. After I closed the door, however, Sam appeared at the balcony above the lobby and began to descend the staircase.
Are they gone?
Yeah, they're gone. He sighed.
This is ridiculous. Is wedding prep really this complicated?
Yeah, but it won't help with all of your complaining, angsty guy. I can only nod before walking over and meeting him as he reached the bottom step. As he stepped off of it, I wrapped my arms around him and nuzzled his forehead, making him look into my eyes. Oh, it'll be worth it in the end when we're married and our souls are binded. He smiled and wrapped his arms around my waist, nuzzling my forehead. I felt the deep love in his embrace, wanting to protect me from the world and all the dangers within it. He had protected me so many times with those arms that were wrapped around me.
If I get to be with you forever, then I guess it's worth the work. You doofus.
Okay, he has a little bit of charm, I will admit. As long as you'll have me, I'll be with you forever. With loving gaze, Sam lifted a hand from my waist and cupped my cheek, and I nuzzled into the warmth of its palm and let out a loving sigh.
Hey, can we go somewhere tomorrow?
Apparently, we can do whatever you want. Thoughts of him going back to the black market crossed my mind, making me slightly worried as to where he wanted to go. Sam, however, looked at his feet.
Well, we already asked your folks and stuff about me marrying you, but there's one person I have to ask permission from.
You're not going to summon my grandfather's ghost, are you?
Your grandfather.
Oh my god, I called it! He wanted to go to my grandfather's grave. Damien had explained that it had been my grandfather who brought them over from the demon world, but I was still getting used to the idea. Sam continued to explain as I wrapped my head around the question.
I know I sound a little dumb, but it was kind of important to me and my brothers. He's the one who brought us here after all. It's only respectful if, I guess, I kinda ask for his blessing. I mean, it's dumb and we don't have to, but...
Of course we can talk to my grandfather.
Alright.
The thought of us going to visit grandfather's grave somehow made me feel happy instead of sad. We had both visited him before, but we weren't engaged then, and something felt special about this visit. Maybe it's because Sam was doing things right before marrying me. Who knew? We went to bed that night, settled in our plans for the following day. As morning arrived, we got dressed and were out of the house by the time the clock struck noon. It was a bright day, no one else was watching, so Sam and I were alone in the cemetery. It was a little unnerving, but at the same time, it was nice to be able to spend time at grandfather's grave alone with Sam. I wish I would visit alone eventually, but for now, Sam took control of our visit. Sam sat down in front of the grave, crossing his legs, and stared at the stone slab that was my grandfather's gravestone. I followed suit, sitting beside him and placing a bouquet of colorful flowers beside the grave.
No matter how many times we come here, it's still so odd. I remember when we met almost like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it's weird. We both sat in comfortable silence looking at the grave. It was strange remembering that 2 years ago, I had met Sam and his brothers literally the day after my grandfather had died. Now I was getting married to Sam. It was surreal to say the least. Sam straightened his back and cleared his throat, causing me to look at him in confusion.
So, Mr. Anderson, I hope that you're around to hear us and stuff. Your spirit, I mean. I'm fucking this up already.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Why was he asking if my grandfather was there? Sam took another breath.
I must sound like a complete jackass. You've given my brothers a chance to start new lives, and I can't ever thank you enough. Now, I'm asking for your granddaughter's hand. I must seem like a brat, huh?
This guy's kinda cute.
You've given us so much already. I want to be able to not only pay you back for giving my brothers better lives, but I want to be with your granddaughter for the rest of my life. As a demon, and as her husband. I promise to take care of her and love her for the rest of my life. I want to be with her and provide her with the life she deserves. I may be a demon, but I love her, and will do anything to protect her and keep her happy. Please, if you're here, I humbly ask for your blessing to marry your granddaughter.
Is my ghost Gramps gonna show up? My heart was overwhelmed by the emotional speech Sam made. Tears were forming in my eyes from the love he was expressing for me. I held my hands over my chest, unable to stop the pounding of my heart. Sam truly loved me. As I stared at him, a gentle wind passed through the air and brushed over Sam's and my skins. It was out of place. The sun was down. I hadn't felt any breeze at all until just then. Grandfather? Another small breeze brushed over us, making me and Sam smile at the sensation. The wind was my grandfather's answer, and it was gentle enough to let us know that he was happy to see where we were and what we were planning to do. Sam let out the breath he was holding in now that he knew my grandfather approved.
I won't let you down.
Aww. I'm a little surprised you didn't ask about the soul binding, though. That's kind of a big point, isn't it? We went home that day feeling confident and ready for whatever the future held for us. We had to gain the blessing of my grandfather, and I was certain that however we went about this marriage, we were going to care and love for each other the rest of our lives. Just thinking that Sam being with me forever made my heart jump in joy. Was I really that excited to be married to him? My heart thought so, despite him being a demon. Still, the demon ritual remained in the back of my mind, softly prodding against my thoughts when we returned homeward on more wedding arrangements. I looked at Sam, now curious to bring it up. Yes, I'm going to bring it up. I looked at him as he pored over a guest list. He was proficient with reading now, constantly learning in the past few years we had been together, so he was flying through his work with ease. Still, I needed to break the silence. Can I ask you something, Sam?
Yeah, sure, what's up?
Promise you won't be mad. He furrowed his eyebrows, now concerned with what I wanted to ask, but I bit my lower lip, and he nodded, crossing his arms and leaning back against his chair.
Go ahead.
If I was nervous before, I was even more nervous now. Well, why is having a demon marriage so important to you? I mean, the soul binding? Can't we just get a marriage license? Sam stared at me in shock. I knew I had thrown him off and I needed to say it. I really wanted him to explain and for us to discuss it. If it was something Sam wanted, I really wished to help him and possibly achieve it with him. If it was impossible, I still wanted to know that at least try regardless, all for him. He sighed and looked down at his crossed arms. Was it seriously that big of a deal that he felt shame over it?
Who told you about it?
You guys were screaming about it through the door. I began to worry. Did I make him mad? Would he be furious at me for bringing it up? I watched as he ran both of his hands through his hair and let out a sigh.
Well, we're having a human marriage and stuff, and, well, I guess that
Sam bit his lip, shutting his eyes as he collected his thoughts. I waited patiently, wanting to know exactly what he felt. Then he looked up at me with a sad, almost heartbroken look in his eyes.
I guess I just miss being a demon.
Dang, dude, but you are a demon.
That's not what I meant. I mean, yeah, I'm a demon, but am I really at this point? I work for a human police force. I live in the human world. I barely ever use my power, so it's like I'm not even a demon anymore.
I mean, you're marrying a human girl. I don't really know what you expect from that. He looked at his lap and closed his eyes, slumping his shoulders in almost pathetic guilt.
So I wanted to eventually ask you when the time was right to marry you demon style. Basically, I'd bind my soul to yours.
Basically.
And yours to mine.
No big
That
deal.
way, I'll always know when you're okay. And you'd be able to tell if I was too.
Can't we use cell phones? What about preparing the spell? Surely you'll have to arrange it somehow with spell components, whatever else. I can only imagine what it requires.
That I hadn't gotten around to yet. I didn't want to do anything until I knew I could do it, but lately, I've found out that it's impossible.
Then we can just let it go, right? He ruffled his own hair through his fingers, slightly growling under his breath. Despite not looking at me, I could tell that he was angry with the situation.
The one chance I have to feel like how I really am, and I can't even do it.
Aw, Sam. I felt terrible for bringing it up.
Look, don't worry about it and forget you ever heard anything, okay? We'll get married like normal, and we'll spend the rest of our lives together. We don't need a spell for that.
Okay, Sam. He nodded before going back to work, as did I. We had so much to do in a small amount of time. We worked the entire afternoon trying to arrange as much as we could before the passing of time hit us like a wave. Dinner was extremely easy, but our focus was solely on the work at hand. The more work we could accomplish, the less stress we'd have to worry about later. Looking at Sam, I could tell he was exhausted. He had his head in his hands, trying to stay awake as he read over his notes and paperwork, I'm sure for the 5th or 6th time. I'm fairly certain he was tired of reading. He had always worked so hard and never failed to try and make everything we did the best moment of our lives. He deserved so much, and yet he fell in love with me, a simple human. I had no way to repay him except for loving him back and giving him everything I could. Though, there was one thing. My mind traveled to a small bachelorette gift Suzu and Naomi had sent me when they first heard the news. It was lingerie to be used during our honeymoon, so it was simply sitting, folded up neatly in a box under the bed. Is this like the... Oh yeah, as soon as she says the word libido, it's about to be the whole thing. Okay, I guess now Sam gets his spicy scene. Let me go turn the light. Part of my brain told me not to bother with it. That gift was for the honeymoon, so it should be reserved as such. But it was a gift, and it was given to me, so I could essentially do what I want with it. My libido fought with my logic over the subject, as I slightly fondled the idea of making hot love to Sam or saving the rough night for the honeymoon. This is very detailed. What was I going to do it, though? Something tells me that we're not going to get to the honeymoon in the first place just because something wild is going to happen. And you guys haven't been able to get a special scene with Sam, so we'll just go ahead and do it. The more I looked at Sam, the more my inner desire began to burn and light my core on fire. Maybe it was because of his incubus aura, maybe because I loved him that much. It didn't matter. I had to get to the room first and change before Sam came in. If this was going to work, then it needed to be a surprise. I let out a small yawn and stood up, breaking Sam out of his concentration. Hey, I'm gonna go ready for bed. Mind cleaning everything up for me?
Sure.
I knew that his exhaustion would hold him back from using his power for a speed boost, so I had to wait a little while to change and surprise him. As I reached the lobby, I began to hustle up the stairs and into the bedroom. I needed all the time I could get. I quickly stripped out of my clothes and opened the box Suzu Naomi had sent me, seeing an emerald green and black bra with matching panties. It looked incredibly sexy, and I couldn't wait to see Sam's face when he saw me in it. As I thought of Sam, I couldn't help but feel a shiver run up my spine. His touches and love were intoxicating. This was the least I could do for him. His scent was intoxicating, and his eyes were endless traps for me to get lost in. His arms were my castle, and his heart was my timekeeper. He alone made my world perfect, and I no longer imagined my life without him. I heard his heavy, tired steps as I hit the stairs, forcing me to rush while I hid the box, hid my clothes, and grabbed my black robe to cover myself. As he opened the door, I turned to face the window.
Hey, you ready for?
What's up? Okay, once again, I'm going to put the timestamp on the screen if you want to skip this. Otherwise, you can pause if you want to read each part. I'm entirely too awkward to read through them, so I'm just going to narrate them awkwardly. Yeah, I look deep into his eyes and go, hey, am I sexy? Sit down. Mesmerized, Sam slowly made his way towards the bed, not breaking the gaze between us, and sat down in silence. Oh god, this is making me really uncomfortable. I'm doing a bunch of things. Okay, I didn't go like, but I slide the robe off. And I channel every ounce of sexuality I had in my body. And I say things. And more things. And then there's physical contact. And there's things going on. And I say more things. And I'm like doing a bunch of teasy stuff and other stuff. Just gonna move along, blah, stuff. I feel really uncomfortable. Okay. The beast was slowly coming out. Oh god. Okay. Do more stuff. You know, anatomy words. And stuff. And stuff. And stuff. Oh boy. Lust. And stuff. This one is pretty well narrated. It's pretty well written, though. I gotta say. Very steamy things. Very steamy things.
Don't.
Oh God. Okay. More
I'm
steamy
not gonna
things.
hold back tonight.
Oh God. Oh God.
Maybe I really am a brute.
Jesus Christ. This is. I'm like super flustered right now. This is really making me like uncomfortable. More stuff. Can we get back to the story so I stop feeling so uncomfortable?
I love you. I love you so much. You doofus.
I'm gonna start blushing and I'll be like really uncomfortable. Okay, sweet. Whew. Whew. Okay, I felt myself drift through the darkness of slumber, both at peace and enjoying the warmth around me that it brought. I was tranquil, unable to feel anything but bliss. I love that I often had the chance to experience this kind of sleep, which was good since I stressed about the upcoming wedding. I needed proper rest. However, as I floated through the dark, I could faintly hear the sounds of fire swelling around me, and so began my nightmare again. The noise began to grow louder and louder, unrelenting in its crescendo. I almost had to cover my ears from the sheer volume.
You think you can stop me, boy?
Oh boy. Oh, here's Dad. As I blinked, the dark around me shifted into a burning room. Flames touched every inch I could see, and in the midst of all of it were Sam and his father, the Demon Lord. They were both wounded, but both were standing tall, confident as ever. Sam stood between me and the Demon Lord, protecting me from him. Still, I felt fear seep into my soul as I looked at the evil Demon Lord smirking at both me and Sam.
I will kill you, old man! I want to see you try. You don't even have the strength to save your precious human!
What? Oh, snap. I get stabbed through the sternum. I couldn't even emit a whimper of pain as an endless agony surged through my body, wrecking my nerves and distorting my vision. I could barely make out Sam arching back to scream at the sky, large flame-like wings erupting from his back. However, I felt my body give into the pain and my vision turned black. I felt waves of agony crash into my body over and over as I remained on the edge of death. When I was finally able to open my eyes, I could barely make out Sam kneeling over me, resting my head on his knees as tears ran down his face.
No. This can't be happening. No.
From a look at his face, I really was dying. How could this be? Why was this happening? I thought I knew demon magic, but apparently it doesn't help me in this one. Sam wept but continued to stare down at me, trying to keep me awake and alive with his touch. However, I felt that it wasn't going to last much longer. I winced at the pain and reached an arm out to Sam, touching his cheek. Sam shook his head violently, not wanting to see me use energy to speak. I grimaced at the pain as Sam continued to cry. My heart whimpered at the sight of his tears falling down his cheeks.
Please. I love you. Please stay with me. No.
Sam, I love you. I wanted to wake up, but I didn't have the strength to fight this illusion. I became lost in the pain that was pinning my body down and draining me of life.
I can't lose you! Please! Please. I love you.
My chest wouldn't allow me to breathe in anymore. All I could do was exhale my last breath and close my eyes. The voice acting in this game is really gripping. At a scream, I finally awoke, sitting up in bed and finally being able to fully breathe again. I panted, feeling the need for fresh air to circulate through my lungs and chest. I ran my hand over my chest, feeling no marks and knowing that I was indeed alive and awake. But what of Sam? I looked to the side to see him still sound asleep, lost in his dreams which seemed to be peaceful. It was just a dream, nothing more. I just have nightmares all the time. It was merely a nightmare. I ran a hand through my hair before lying back down, knowing that I would find solace in Sam's arms. As if by instinct, Sam wrapped both of his strong arms around my form, and I cuddled against his chest. We were fine. We were going to be fine. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna stop it here. Apparently there's gonna be a lot of really harsh shit going on later, but I really hope I don't get stabbed by my future father-in-law, because that would be really awkward. But yeah, Sam finally gets some booty, so good for him. If you like this, go ahead and leave a like. If you have any suggestions for games, leave them down below. And I will see you guys in the next one.